Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I have so much new makeup in front of me and I need to get ready. You might notice that my energy is a little low, that my voice sounds a little different. I am getting over an illness. We have been healthy for 3 years, no problem, no problem, no problem. And a little more than a week ago, my oldest started feeling sick. The next day she was down for the count, took her into urgent care. Guess what you have? And then the rest of us, like dominoes in the family, started falling. So we're all on the mend, we're all feeling better, but boy, it laid me low. And I'll tell you, there's nothing like putting on makeup to make myself feel like a person again. It was really hard not to be like playing in all the new stuff that just started rolling in. So I was on a no-buy for January, but the minute February 1 rolled around, I was like, okay, this is what and I had been thinking about it. So I didn't buy I was gonna say I didn't buy a ton of stuff. This is a lot for me, but I was very specific about things that really caught my interest. And I am gonna start with this. This is new from RMS Beauty. This is the Lip Lights. This is kind of like a gloss in a tube. It's very stiff. I have the shade Rhapsody. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so I fell in love with the Glossier Swiss Miss. And it's kind of like a chocolate brown, and it kind of reinvigorated my love for brown lip products. And then of course I was in love with Lisa Eldridge's Meet Me in Berlin since this summer, and then she came out with Sorcery, and I just had been in a brown lip mood. So when I saw this, I was like, yes. Isn't that pretty? I'm gonna start with this because my lips are dry, and they say you can use this either on top of lipstick or on its own. Chances are I'll probably use it on its own. It's a little firm coming out of here, but once it starts to warm up on the lips, it's not firm at all. I just wiped some of it off because that was more than I intended. I don't really intend this to be my lip color, just a little something to nourish my lips as we move on. I'm just gonna read you what it says on the side of the box here. Skin nourishing, dewy texture. It has a 3-in-1 glow that works as a treatment lip balm, a sophisticated gloss, and a subtle volumizer. It has peptides for plumping and soothing botanical butters in it. You're supposed to just be able to glide it on. The other thing I did is I purchased this little metal turnkey. This comes with their eye lights, but it doesn't come with their lip lights. And the idea is when you get like probably a third of the way down, you put this on here and then you start cranking it down to get everything out. I think once I get the key on here, you know, being able to dispense just the right amount with the key is going to be a little bit easier than trying to squeeze it out of here. But this shade in Rhapsody is really very pretty. You can build it up to a little bit more, but right now what I'm wanting is the hydrating properties of this. I finally picked up the Vanessa Myers Yummy Skin Universal Balm Powder. I haven't dipped into it. I don't even know what it feels like. Okay, I think I'm going to use the spatula. It comes with a little spatula on the back here. And I'm going to use it as a primer. The idea of this product is that you can use it as a primer. It comes in multiple shades. I think there are, ooh, it feels really nice on the skin. Okay, so this is going over my skincare and my sunscreen. This is supposed to help blur the look of texture. It has a special ingredient in it called Upsolite, a Swedish ingredient that helps to moisturize while still keeping your skin looking matte. I was like, oh, interesting. And it's supposed to help balance oils throughout the day. So as your skin produces more oils, it helps to kind of just keep everything in hand. Now you can also use this as a powder. And I don't know, like I'm wondering if I just rub my fingers in it, because you're supposed to be able to either, you know, just straight from the pot or scoop some out. I didn't pick this up when it launched last year because I couldn't figure it out. And I should have just taken the time to read it. The other thing they say you can do with this is that you can prime your eyelids. And you know, I never prime my eyelids, but we're doing it today. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of this over, even underneath. I want a real bare skin look today, so I'm gonna be using the Tinted Moisturizer from Rare Beauty. This is the lightest shade in 10N. I'm mixing it with a little bit of the Make Beauty Skin Mimetic Concealer. I find that this works really beautifully on my face as coverage, but does not do me any favors under the eyes. while I mix this up on my palette here. The one thing I'll tell you, that Make concealer, I want to love it, but I can't use it under my eyes. I find that when I do, it ends up, it sits in my creases, and then no amount of powder or primer or not using under eye cream, nothing can keep it from settling into my creases. And it could be that the product is too emollient for my skin type. I have combo skin, but my under eyes are normal, especially normal to dry in the wintertime. And it was a real surprise to me that I really struggled to get this to work for me under the eyes. And I have tried lots of different powder combos and nothing seems to work. My goal is not really heavy skin today. I just want to not look like I'm ick. My husband and I both went in to urgent care and were able to get a prescription for Paxlovid. That has really helped. The hard part has been, it's not really that hard. It's just that every time I take it, my mouth tastes like metal for the next like 8-9 hours. And then it goes away, but you're supposed to take a dose of Paxlovid every 12 hours. So I have like a couple hours here and then take another dose. So right now I'm tasting metal. But it makes me feel less gross and I'm willing to do it for that. But I do like the way that this combo works on my skin. I'm going to put a little bit of the Beauty Pie Under Eye Genius. This is the Super Luminous Under Eye Genius. Under here, that's the one thing. I have not been wearing makeup for the last several days. And every time I look in the mirror, I'm kind of like, whoa. And I forget how, first of all, when you're sick, you look sick. And then on top of that, I forget how really, really dark my under eye circles are without a little bit of correction. And I'm going to put the smallest amount of the Rare Beauty concealer underneath my eyes. I don't want a lot, just a little bit. I might even hit like a couple of spots here on my face where I have some darkness. So I'm not using it just as concealer and corrector, but also a little bit of a highlight. I'm going to use that same brush that I used for blending in foundation earlier. And I'm just going to keep kind of stamping it in. The one thing I do want to do is use an actual powder. If I were to use this Balm blurring powder underneath my eyes, it might work really well, but it's supposed to kind of minimize oils and keep it looking soft and matte, and I don't really have any oils underneath my eyes, so I'm going to be using this. This is a loose setting powder from Beauty Pie. This is a new product. Well, it's not new. It's a product that I picked up recently. This is their super translucent loose setting powder. The shade is See-Through. I'm going to grab just a little targeted brush and lightly, ever so lightly, make sure we're completely tapped out. And then just place this right here underneath the eye. I'm not going to set the rest of my face with powder. If I set it with anything, I want to set it with this later, but that's going to take some doing, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep putting a little bit more color on my face. I'm going to start with this. This is a new liquid highlight from Danessa Myricks. This is called the Vision Flush. I have the lightest champagne shade. There is kind of like an opalescent shade that looked really pretty. Look at this. This one's called Tiara. This might even be too much. What's great about this, and it just really called me when I read the description, is that it is a kind of pretty metallic highlight with no glitter. For mature skin, I was like, oh yes, yes. And so I'm gonna put a little bit of this down first. That's so pretty. It's very subtle. I feel like this is so subtle. Not subtle as in like you can't see it, is it there? Because it's there, but it's not that shiny, flaky, light catching in kind of like the sparkly way. It's more of the light catching in a glowy, luminous way. And I really like that. And I think on more mature skin, it's a really beautiful look. I picked up one of these new blushes from Danessa Myricks. This is exactly the same formula as the Blurring Balm, but this is a blush. This is the new Flushed line. And look at this shade. I'm so excited. This is the shade Golden Hour. Look, okay, all right, this has me excited because blended out on the skin, this is the sort of color I want for spring, for summer. I'm gonna take kind of a more, kind of a fluffy brush, pick up a little bit, bounce it off on the back of my hand because I don't want too much, I want just a little bit, And I'm gonna add this over the top of the highlight that I already laid down. This is a really bold shade. This might not have been the smartest shade to get, maybe I just need to keep playing with it. I think for me, the problem has been I've really been kind of stuck in a rosy nude blush moment, and I haven't really been interested in wearing anything else. And for years, I used to love peaches and corals, and this kind of corally shade really, this is like a vibrant coral shade, was really calling to me. So I'm just gonna continue to take it kind of like right up and through here, right over the top of that highlight that I placed down. The other thing is that you can use this on the lips as well. This is, you know, kind of an all over face color. I'm kind of curious, should we put it on the lips? I'm just gonna blend the edges with this brush that had foundation on it. It doesn't really have anything left, just the remnants. It was feeling a little too bright. I do spend a lot of time going back and forth trying to get a better blend because I'm trying to be less clown cheeky. I am always over blushing and I love blush. Okay, so let me tell you, if I was just running errands around town, I would go out looking just like this. Like, who cares about the eyebrows? There's no eye makeup on. I got a little color here, a little color here, and the rest of me looks like a person, not like a corpse. I would be so happy. I am so excited about this. I want to know what it wears like, but right now, And all Danessa needs to do is to make a kind of a contour or a, maybe she does. Because I know that there's like a Balm bronzer. I have one of her cream bronzers and it's not my favorite formula, but this Upsolite formula, oh, it's so easy to blend. So easy to blend, but I really like it. This is supposed to be the sort of product that you can pick up on a dent brush and just kind of like pat in place. I might start by just kind of, this is the, since this is the see-through translucent one, I'm gonna pick a little bit up on my fingers and just kind of tap over things. And the goal here is to kind of keep everything set and in place. I'm gonna take a little bit of this over the top of my foundation, corners of my nose. That's where I usually get extra oils coming up. And I'm hoping that since I used this as a primer, it's gonna kind of keep some of those oils at bay. Now, I've never been one who's been really big on priming my skin or my eyelids, and I know that's really silly. I'm just lazy. I'm just lazy. But if this makes like all the difference in the world and I don't have things breaking up around my nose, I don't have problems in the summertime, oh, I will be a devoted fan. This is a really interesting product, but right now, this is making me so happy. I didn't get anything new for eyebrows, so I'm going to use the Make Beauty Blade line. I have the shade Cool Brown. I feel like this is a really good shade for my eyebrows. I want to kind of keep it light-ish today. Not too heavy, not too deep, all over the face. We'll see if we accomplish that goal. I got a little tiny trial size of the 24-hour brow setter from Benefit when I made my recent Sephora order, so I'm just going to use this in my brows. It's clear. Supposed to kind of hold everything into place. I'm gonna go for a really nude, easy eye today. I'm gonna use, I think, mostly mattes, and I'm picking them from this M Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. This is the one in Rodin. It's the lightest neutral they have, and I'm probably gonna stick to the lightest kind of matte shades, and I'm not really looking to anything more than just kind of sculpt out my eye a little bit. I don't want a ton of color or a ton of sparkle, and I'm reaching into the deepest shade just to kind of hit the outside corner here. I have forever been on the hunt for an eye pencil that I can use in my upper waterline that when I blink will not transfer to my lower. My goal is to tight line the upper waterline right along the lash line and then the entire upper waterline just to make my lashes look that much longer. I love the look of that, but it's been so long since I found something that stays there that when I blink it doesn't immediately transfer to the lower. Now the reason I don't want anything on the lower waterline is I already have small-ish eyes, and if I blank out my lower waterline with darkness, all it ever does is make my eyes look smaller, and I don't want to look like I have little teeny tiny eyes. I want nice, well, as big as I can make them look eyes. So I picked this up. This is the Chanel Stilo U Waterproof. Now, and I'm forgetting her name right now, but a makeup artist that I found on Shorts was talking about this being a fabulous pencil So it's very expensive. And I have the shade Prune Intense, which is kind of like a really pretty plum shade. Try not to buy any browns or blacks because you know me and my neutral colors. This is still very neutral. But I'm going to start by giving myself just a little bit of color above the lash line with this. And then we'll take it into the upper waterline, tight line area and see how it does. Here's the good news. I've had this on for a few minutes while I was lining that one eye and I cannot get it to budge. That is fantastic. But the one thing I did notice, and maybe it wasn't completely set, and I started blinking is, do you see how it's in my lower waterline? My goal was to get it in my upper waterline and then it not transfer. Maybe now that it's set, I can wipe it out of my lower waterline. We'll see what happens. So I'm gonna take a little Q-tip here. I'm gonna take a minute to do the same thing to the other side, throw some mascara on, and I'll be back. I've got some new lip products to play with. LYS came out with some new lip products. These really caught my attention. They have a Moisture Matte lipstick. This is their Speak Love Moisture Matte lipstick. And I think they have 7 shades. And then they have a new lip pencil as well from the same line. I have the shade Driven in the pencil and Desired in the lipstick. Let me give you a quick swatch. These just really, ooh, yes. Okay, again, brown. I don't know where like the 90s girl in me is coming from, but I feel like this is exactly what my 90s girl wanted. I never wore brown lipstick in the 90s because I could never find the right shade. I always looked crazy. Maybe I didn't know what I was doing. I'm gonna start by kind of giving it kind of feels a little bit waxy. I'm going to give myself a little bit more here at the Cupid's bow. Overline just a hair. And if you're wondering about overlining, I go like right to the edge of my lip line and then just up like a smidge. And I only do it at the Cupid's bow. And then right here at the bottom, so where the natural lip line is. And then I cheat it just a little bit here. And then everything else I do right on the lip line or slightly under. To get the sort of kind of together lip look that I want, I'm gonna lay this on its side and kind of hit the edge here. I'm not very careful about this part. Kind of just shade the edge, like from where the line is, in a little bit. And I kind of rub it over with my finger. This is really setting down. This is like looks like it's gonna be like a no budge lip liner, which will be nice for all day wear, but for blendability, it would be easier if I wasn't talking in between laying it down. And okay, this is kind of like a do it, don't talk and go while you're doing it. This color alone with the gloss would be stunning, but I'm really curious to see what this looks like over it. I like how slim line it is. I have been really liking skinny lipsticks. I don't know, like who am I? This feels a little bit more like one of those slightly grippy, but it dries down and stays put sort of liners. And this feels really creamy. This feels like a cream lipstick going on. I do like that we have a really focused applicator and you know, it's not really big. It's really, but it's very, that's one swipe. That's a lot of pigment. I'm glad that it's, you know, smaller and more targeted application. I feel like my lips were a little dry after taking off the other 2 products I had on my lips and putting on that lip liner. I was like, oh, my lips, they're feeling dry. The minute I put this lipstick on, all of a sudden they don't feel dry, they don't feel tight, they don't feel kind of like they're gonna be uncomfortable. I think this has the ability to do a little bit of nourishing. Now, I don't know. This is the first time I put it on. I will have to let you know, does it nourish in the long term or does it just feel comfortable? Because there are some products that although they feel comfortable, that's all they do is they just feel comfortable all day long. And at the end of the day, it's like, oh, what happened to my lips? And there are other products that do nothing but dry, 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 dry. And then there are those that not only feel comfortable, but also nourish throughout the day. So this has chia seed oil and hyaluronic acid in it to help give kind of like a fuller, more smooth look, but also to provide some moisture. And I'm hoping that it does that. Maybe that's where some of the shine is coming from the chia seed oil. Just something to mention, I just cleaned it up on the other side. But this was the eye that we started on, and I put liner in the waterline and I cleaned it out, and then I said, let's see if it's set. And I'm still getting some transfer to the lower waterline. The fact that this is kind of like a purple shade, this prune shade, I feel like kind of keeps it from looking too dark and too intense. If I had black transfer or like an espresso brown transfer, it would be a lot more. I don't know, this $30 what eyeliner from Chanel. Okay. Maybe my eyes are different. Maybe the tears that my eyes produce are caustic and like lift every single eyeliner, because this pro makeup artist was just speaking nothing but love. They tried everything and this was the best. They used it in the waterline. It never transferred. And I was like, okay, I'll spend the dollars. And now I'm like, and I know we're all different and we wear makeup differently, but this is not exciting. I'm going to keep trying it. I feel like above the lash line, it's probably going to do great, but most longwear waterproof eyeliners do great above my lash line. I'm looking for something in the upper waterline, and I want to get back to the point, if I can find the right formula where I can put something up there and I blink, I don't have to worry about getting small smudges of color just in certain areas on my lower waterline, or have the problem where it kind of melts and then it kind of collects and I cry sad little panda tears. That's not what I want. I want something, and I don't know, maybe I'm asking for the impossible, but if you know a formula, let me know in the comment section down below. I gave myself a quick blot. I feel like this is a little bit more in line with the sort of makeup I was wanting today. The lip was really beautiful, but a little bold. I wanted kind of like a, yeah, you're wearing makeup, but it's not a lot, and it was kind of easy, fast, and effortless. But I felt like the lip was feeling a little too done. I might switch later today to just the lip light. That might be more my speed for how I'm feeling today. But let me tell you, overall, I'm pretty happy. I think that this lipstick is really comfortable and I really like the color. I'm looking forward to see what this lip combo does for me. You already know how I feel about this. This kind of worries me. This is interesting. I am really curious to see what this does. Like, will it really nourish? Will it give my lips the look of a slightly fuller, plumper? I don't expect it to, you know, make it look like I've had filler, but if it can smooth out some of those lines, that would be really nice. I'm really loving this, this kind of balmy, matte, beautiful, soft and blurred cheek. It's so pretty, and I feel like when I don't go too heavy-handed, it's just enough. This is something, I know this isn't new, but it's new to my collection. I'm really curious to see what this ends up being for me. Am I going to use it mostly as primer? I use it as primer and to set like my cheeks, around my nose and chin. I did notice, and I just kind of spent a little time blending it up here, was that it is blurring, but I am finding like I do have color settling here into my expression lines. And I normally use a powder to keep everything in place so it doesn't migrate. I feel like because this is slightly kind of emollient in feel, it's not going to have the same power that something that would kind of absorb oils and kind of set it all down. I don't know. Maybe I'm not fully understanding the possibilities that this offers, but I feel like the places I would want actual powder would be for my expression lines here, underneath my eyes so I don't get any crinkling. I'm curious to see what the oil situation is around my nose. It's warmer today, it's in the mid-40s, and that's when my skin starts being a little bit more combo and less normal. But I feel like with the weather being what it is right now, I will have regular oils cropping up around my nose, which is usually my more oily area. And I'm curious to see how this blurring balm powder kind of handles that, because the idea is it's supposed to keep oils at bay while keeping everything blurred and looking pristine. So I'm super curious about that. I'm looking, what else did I try that was new? Oh, this Beauty Pie powder. I've used it once before under the eyes, and I feel like, you know, for an under eye powder, I really like it. There are not a lot of powders that I trust under the eyes. The fact that I reached for this again, I was like, wait, what am I doing? I love their One Powder Wonder and Uberlucent Universal, the white one, the baked one. Gorgeous, traceless. This one also looks on my fair skin. Of course, I'm wearing the lightest shade of this, the lightest shade of this, the lightest shade of this, that it actually, you can't see it. So grain of salt, but this is their translucent shade and see-through, but I like the way this is looking under my eyes. I don't see any product settling into any of my fine lines under here, and overall, it looks like I'm not wearing powder. That's worth a lot. That's worth a lot. All right, what am I forgetting? Oh, this. Okay, so this, I almost feel like I need a little bit more of this highlight. I hope I'm not ruining everything right now, but I don't have any powder over it, so here's hoping I'm not. It can be a little bit more metallic, but I'm really kind of blurring it out, so it's just barely, barely visible. I think it looks really pretty, very healthy. I like that there's no glitter in this. Hey, thanks so much for watching today. I love that I took some time to, you know, do my hair, put on some jewelry, not just cough all day and be grouchy in bed. It's nice. You know, there is that whole thing, like if you take time to take a shower and put your face on or get dressed in nice clothes, whatever it is that you do that makes you feel better, going through my daily ritual, I do feel, somehow I feel better. I think a lot of it is just here, because physically I'm feeling still kind of an ick, and I will probably for several days yet, but I feel like I'm on the upswing of things. But I don't know, I forget sometimes how powerful just putting makeup on and okay, I feel good. I feel pretty. I can do this. Yeah, this is pulling myself by my makeup bootstraps. I would love to know what you do for yourself when you're sick. Thank you so much for watching today. Also let me know, are any of these catching your eye? Are any of these new products kind of like calling to you? I've had a lot of new stuff that's come into my collection recently that I'm like, whoa, dude. But the truth is, I don't think I've had any true, complete, epic fails. Like, I feel like this time last year, I tried a couple of things that were like, nope, that is not for me. But so far, I feel like I've been carefully letting the right things in. Let me know what's catching your eye or what you have picked up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing really, really well, and I will see you again soon.